Carson, thank you for showing up today. We want to let you have the floor and get some legislative updates. So yeah, thank you for showing up. Good to see you.
All right. Yes, thank you. Good to see you all as well. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit to January 1st for the legislative update, kind of give a high level picture of where things are right now and maybe a little look into the future. So in November, actually, there were two House Democrat members who ran for mayor, and both of them ended up winning. So the majority was 56-54, with both of those members winning. The House majority actually vanished there for a bit and is currently sitting at 54-54. So a tie on the House floor. That has really delayed any activity on the House floor for the past 3 months. That election is April 16th to fill those seats. They're pretty solid Democrat seats, and we would anticipate those to stay the same and for that 56-54 majority to kick back in after the 16th. But it's been a little bit of a holding pattern as it relates to the House activity for the past 3 months here. We did have in late January, the governor had her 2024 State of the State address. So there she outlined some of the victories of the past year and then sets her policy agenda for the upcoming year. And then 2 weeks after that is her unveiling of the FY25 executive budget recommendation. So that's kind of the trigger where the attention turns on the budget from the House and Senate perspectives and really kicks that process off. And I did share some information on some interesting budget items. One that I did want to highlight is funding for increased Medicaid reimbursement rates for mental health professionals. That was included in the budget. This is something that we saw proposed in the House version of the budget last year, but the House and Senate were not in agreement on what that final form would look like. We did talk with the House chair last year who said, let's look at 2024 to try and get this done. So it was great to see that was included in the governor's recommendation, and then knowing that there's support from the House chair on that program is great news. So for the last 2 months now, or a month now, since the budget's been released, the House and Senate subcommittees have met, kind of been diving into the details of the governor's proposal, and then they're going to start to formulate their respective budgets. Since there hasn't been a whole lot of legislative activity because of the stalemate over in the House, next Tuesday is actually the last day of session, at least for the House, I believe. I'd have to double check on the Senate, but until April 10th. So they have their 2-week legislative spring break. So they all kind of get out of town there for 2 weeks, hit the reset button, and then we would anticipate a very, very busy month of April, May, and June getting stuff done. There's a lot to do because there's been not as much activity on the floor side of things in legislative movement. So, and then, a week after they come back, the elections kick in. So it's almost like they calm before the storm here a bit before the week of April 9th kind of kicks things into full gear. So that's a real high level update. One last thing I did want to mention too is just to put on everyone's radar in case you didn't know, is that I believe it's April 19th is the next Board of Counseling meeting. So just wanted to put that on everyone's radar and have a note on that for my calendar as well, but just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. and I'm happy to take questions. I know that was a really high level in a 3 month, basically 5 month recap since November. But again, happy to answer any specific questions or get more information over to whomever needs it.
So
It's
Carson,
really good to see you back, Carson.
Oh, good to see you too, Lori,
Yeah.
and
That's
everyone.
Thanks, Carson. I wanted to say the same thing, and thank you for that report, and good to see you.
is there
And
any information on the LPC, or LLC bill?
Yes. So I've had conversations with the bill sponsor. As soon as we're able to help, mobilize and get him the information he needs, and getting logistics worked out to for committee hearings and all that stuff, they're willing to get this done hopefully before the summer break. And in my mind, this is a little bit of insider baseball, but you'd really like to get any bill out of the first chamber before the summer break. So that's a little goal that all of us have on any legislation, because as it gets into an election year and the fall and then lame duck, I mean, crazy stuff can happen. So you really want to make sure that bill is out of the first chamber kind of before the summer recess, and especially in an election year.
So do we have any information, or do we know whoever's setting the calendar for the relevant committee, do we know how likely they are to actually bring it to to a committee vote?
Yep. So I've had conversations with the chair, which is Rep. Julie Rogers. She's over in the Kalamazoo area, I believe, definitely over on the west side. And she has knowledge, works really closely as well with the DHHS subcommittee chair, who's in charge of the budget, who actually it was funny, she had an experience with a friend who I believe is an LLPC, and her friend talks about how you're almost disincentivized to treat those on Medicaid, and you're incentivized to go and try and find private insurance. And then so she has that anecdote. That's why she's supportive of the Medicaid reimbursement rate increase. So we've had those conversations. She's definitely willing to do it. It's such an easy technical fix. This is, something that should kind of go through pretty easily. No opposition. The department was supportive last time, even submitted a card of support, not just neutral on it. So no hiccups, no roadblocks expected.
And if there's anything that we can do, or if it would be useful for us to create a correspondence in support of that, we absolutely can.
Perfect.
Carol?
Chris, I just wanted to mention that the Board of Counseling meeting is on the third Friday in April. So if our meeting could be 9 to 10 on that day, so that we can attend the board meeting if we want to, the Board of Counseling meeting.
Or if we just find an entirely different time, because that was one of the other things, and yeah, we can talk about that out of meeting, but we can make sure that it's convenient, at least for the Board of Counseling meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions for Carson?
Just so good to see you, Carson.
Thanks, Catherine. Good to see you too.
And then as far as the Medicaid reimbursement budget line, do you know I'm assuming other professionals are also supportive of that going up. Would it be useful for us to also reach out to them and engage in any sort of concerted efforts?
Yes, definitely. That'll be something too. So the way that this is kind of done is something's kind of proposed and it's not really formulated yet. In the actual description, they did mention counseling. So first would be to make sure that LPC and LLPC codes are included in that, and that, you know, we're a part of that increase. And then it's figuring out, you know, what other codes, what other professions would be positively impacted by that, and then working with them as, you know, kind of allies and advocating with them for this.
Okay. And you had said that Julie Rogers, the chair of the committee, had that kind of personal anecdote from someone that she knows that's a practitioner. If she ever needs any other kind of insights, or if she wants to talk to someone who's been through kind of the ringer with Medicaid, and you know, I would be happy to offer, you know, any sort of conversation or time to her for that. You know, I think I sent you an advocacy letter that we had used to send out to representatives as well. You know, if you need anything else like that, just let us know too.
Sounds good.
All right. So if there's not any other questions for Carson, we can let him take off and do all the busy stuff that he's probably doing.
Well, thank you all again, and have a great weekend. I don't know about the weather today, but I think tomorrow is supposed to be pretty nice. So everyone have a great weekend. Enjoy the nice weather, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, to you as well. Take care.
Thanks.